But perhaps I not dwell further on this unless we are going to be at the same. For our present purposes, as simple believers attending Ramadan Tafsir, what we should say is that as at home, and also in our society, let us not make any laws or regulations, or ordinances, or rules that will breach divine law. Divine law is supreme. وَلَا تَقْتَلُوا, do not commit excesses. In Allah, la yudu muqtadi. Do not commit excesses. Some people have argued that in saying this, do not commit excesses, is that perhaps under special occasions, some infringement may be permissible. How? For example, you and I know it is forbidden for you and for me to eat what is dead or to eat pork. Well, I tacted. However, some people have said that if there are some extreme cases, right, therefore, sister, please let's underline the words extreme cases, really extreme cases. Then a minor infringement of that law may be permissible. What are the extreme cases? If in time of war you get yourself stranded, you become a refugee, your life is absolutely no food for you to eat, and the only thing that is offered you is carrion, i.e. dead meat, or anything that is forbidden. The choice is clear. Either you die as a result of not taking anything at all, or you save life itself by taking what is forbidden in such strict circumstances. What scholars have said is that under such extreme cases, you may, to save life, take a little bit of it. But like tactily, however, don't transgress. Don't indulge in that excess. Don't say, you don't have an opportunity to do what you like. No. Your eating of carrion, your eating of pork, or eating of forbidden food will be strictly limited. You are doing it most reluctantly because absolutely there is no choice. It's really like that I arose recently. When our country was at war, was being bombarded, I think it was Iran. They were facing strict embargo, and they were being bombarded day and night. Some of them were even captured, and they got to a place where in fact they have no control over anything. They had a choice: hunger strike until they die, or to take prohibited food. Some of them had to take prohibited food, but in doing so, they did so in very limited circumstances, not in full measure, because life has been saved. Do not exceed limits. In Allah, Allah does not like those who exceed limits. What we have said relates to making unlawful what Allah has made lawful. That's the sense of the sentence here, or the passage of this verse I have just read. But perhaps what affects us more is the reverse. What Allah has made unlawful, can man make it lawful? The answer is clear. God is the source. God is the judge. He is the source of what is good and what is right. What He prohibits remains prohibited, and what He allows remains permissible. Man should not arrogate to himself the power to convert what Allah has made unlawful to make it lawful, or the power to convert what Allah has made lawful unlawful. In other words, don't make unlawful what is lawful. Also, don't make lawful what Allah has made unlawful. Whatever side of the coin you look at it, the issue is clear. Divine law is supreme.
وَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي أَنْتُمْ بِهِ مُؤْمِنُونَ.
وَكُلُوا, eat mimma razaqakum, out of what Allah has provided for you. Halalan tayyiban, i.e. pure and good, clean. Wattaqullah alladhi antum bihi mu'minun. Fear Allah, keep your duty to Allah, show self-restraint, be God conscious, so that you may be successful. Again, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, kindly allow me to invite your attention to this verse. Simple, clear, forthright, yet pregnant with meaning. Kulu mimma razaqakum halalan tayyiban. Eat what Allah has created for you, pure and clean. There are many interpretations of this from many scholars. One interpretation is that what Allah has created, everything is clean and pure. Allah has not created what is bad, and therefore you are free to eat out of the sustenance of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Absolutely correct, and there's no harm in that interpretation. In other words, eat what Allah has created. Any food, any animal, eat it once you find it good for you. Kulu mimma razaqakum halalan tayyiban. Eat what is pure, what is clean. And we've already said that there are certain things that Allah has made unlawful for us as Muslims. Prima alaykum mitata, i.e. you cannot eat blood. Daman jinzir, you cannot also eat pork. Also, you cannot take alcohol. These things are prohibited to us. And since they are prohibited, this verse does not mean that we must eat them. After all, it is Allah Azza wa Jalla who created the pig. The pig is there. It's created by Allah Azza wa Jalla. But Allah has forbidden us from taking the flesh of pig, from taking pork. And therefore you and I should abstain from it. In other words, even though what Allah has created, all of them are pure, all of them are clean, all of them are good. And how else can we describe them? There are a few matters, a few food items that are prohibited for you and for me, and it's not proper for you and for me as Muslims, as believers in Allah to take what is prohibited. Fair enough. What are the things we want to watch out for? Is that as regards things that are prohibited for us, they come to us in very subtle forms. And I think this perhaps an occasion when we ought to open our own eyes to remind ourselves about what remains forbidden out of the creation of Allah Ta'ala. We just talked about pork. And Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, whatever remains forbidden, remains forbidden. What is forbidden is not the quantity, but the idea itself. A little of what is forbidden remains forbidden. For example, pork. What is forbidden there is the animal fat, the fat of pork. If that animal fat, if it is present in other food items, no matter in what proportion, even if it is small, that food remains contaminated and that food remains prohibited to you as well. If you care to watch this, we find that there are many food items you should be a bit more careful about and desist from eating. Many of the processed foods that are imported to us, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, let me advise, please watch out and examine the contents of tinned foods or imported foods that come across your way. Before you decide to eat them, see if it contains this element called animal fat. If it contains animal fat, in all probability that is referring to the fat of pork. Even if it is 1% of it that is present in that particular food item, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, that food has become contaminated and has become prohibited to you as well. It may not be called pork meat, but since it contains an element of pork in it, contains animal fat in it, it remains prohibited to you as well. A good example here are many of the biscuits that many of us would easily buy. Maybe when we are driving along the highway or we get to a supermarket. If you care to look at the wrapper of the biscuits that we eat, many of them are prepared using animal fat. They may be beautifully wrapped, they may appear very delicious, they may be extremely attractive, but once they contain animal fat, that is pork. And since pork is forbidden to you and for me, then you and I must avoid taking such biscuits that contain animal fat. You can multiply the examples many times over. The important thing that I'm trying to draw attention to is that let us watch what we eat. If we fear Allah and want to gain Al-Jannah, if we look carefully at what we eat, we shall detect many examples of food items containing what is prohibited for you and for me. And on such occasion, let us stay clear of it. I refer to pork. Perhaps on this occasion, I must not hesitate to dwell a little bit on even on alcohol. Many of us would avoid alcohol. We know what alcohol is. We will not take Bacchus wine. We will not take gin. We will not take tonic wine, etc. But wine has a way of finding itself back to us. And we have to be on our guard against such subtle moves. How? There is in our culture what is called ogwaga, i.e. a concoction which is prepared using a concoction that is prepared by one knowledgeable person or the other, herbalist if you like, or a local pharmacist, saying that this one is good medicine, ogwaga. All you need to do is to take it in the morning. It's prepared with alcohol or with a bit of alcohol. All you need to do is to take it in the morning, early in the morning, or take it late at night. And it is a panacea for all ills. And dear brothers and sisters in Islam, whatever ills are supposed to be cured by such concoctions, be on your guard. Allah has prohibited alcohol for you and for me. And if you fear Allah, then we should not take any concoction which contains what is prohibited. Some people may argue that, is that not medicine? And if it is good medicine, why shouldn't I take it? My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, you cannot cure what is bad by what is bad. If you have an ailment, cure it with what is clean, not with what is prohibited. That is not a proper way of operating. I'm sure to any ailment there are so many alternatives that can be taken to cure that ailment. And it's not only where one takes what is prohibited that an ailment can be cured. Somebody used to tell me, for example, that how about yeast? Yeast is extremely good for the eye, and yet yeast contains some alcohol. What is the alternative? Doctors, pharmacists have clearly shown there are so many ways of treating eye ailments without resort to what contains alcohol. So, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, the choice is left to you, the choice is left to me. Shall we cure what is ill by what is prohibited? Shall we cure our illness by what is prohibited? My own short answer is no. There are other alternatives. There are many ways of curing an ailment without resorting to what is prohibited. Allah says, eat only what is halal, what is clean for you. Eat only what is clean. Eat what has been declared as halal for you. And do not try and be deceived. Don't deceive yourself, and don't be deceived as well. Halal and haram. I'm still on that matter. Kulu min at-tayyibat ma razaqnakum. Kulu mimma razaqakumullah halalan tayyiban. Eat only what is halal. That is another interpretation. Eat only what is halal. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm sure you are all aware that in Islam you have these two broad divisions. Halal, what is legal, what is permissible. Haram, what is forbidden, what is illegal. We can apply it to anything. Food that is halal, food that is haram. Money that is halal, money that is haram. Drink that is halal, and drink also, that is haram. Allah has said it very clearly. And in the Quran, in many passages, you also know that distinction is clear and sharp. What is forbidden remains forbidden. And Allah does not mince words about it at all. However, man loves this world very much. We love food, we love drink. Anything goes. And therefore the distinction between halal and haram has become steadily blurred. Some people will not see any distinction any longer between what is permissible and what is forbidden. So far as it is edible, it is edible. So far as it is choppable, it is choppable. So far as it is drinkable, it is drinkable. Halal or haram, forget it all. I think just about some months ago, I remember somebody trying to define haram to me. He said, Prof, he said, haram, if you can, if they chop, and they give part of the chop, then it's not haram any longer. But if they chop, and you don't take part in the chop, then that is haram. In other words, what makes the difference between haram and halal is your participation in it. Once you are part of it all, it becomes halal. Once you are not part of it, then you can blame them. They are eating haram. They are doing what is wrong. But if you are part of it yourself, what have we done wrong here? It is common, it is normal. Who will argue it out? My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I am not the source of the law, and I dare say, my dear listeners, you good people are also not the source of the law. The source of the law is clear, is Allah Azza wa Jalla. What Allah says is halal and lawful, it means halal and lawful. What Allah says is haram, it means also haram. Let us maintain that distinction that Allah has made. After all, the Quran has said it's supposed to be a criterion between what is good and right, and it explains this very, very, very clearly. We should not try and becloud the issues for ourselves. If food is halal, it is halal. If drink is halal, it is halal. If money is halal, it is halal. Don't let us mix issues, because after all, Allah is going to be the judge on the day of resurrection on this matter. And the matter on which you dispute, Allah will decide, and it will fear that last day. It will fear the day of judgment. It will fear the hereafter. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, take heed right now. Let us chop only what is halal, drink only what is halal, and share only what is halal. That it means blessed, and that it means that you are pure and that you are good. Kullu mimma razaqakumullah halalan tayyiban wa taqullah alladhi antum bihi mu'minun. Fear Allah in whom you have your belief.
كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تشكرون.
In this particular verse, another issue is under discussion. The issue under discussion here does not relate, of course, to any food item, but it relates to the central theme of what is permissible and not permissible, what is forbidden and not forbidden. It relates to oaths. Oaths, if you swear. The crux of the matter is contained in the last section of that verse, where Allah says, وَأَكْفَزُوا يَمَنَّكُمْ, i.e., if you swear, if you make an oath, you solemnly make a promise, وَأَكْفَزُوا, observe your promise, keep your oaths. That is the crux of the matter in this section here. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I will deal with the other matters that are